Yeah, man. So, doing a live video. I was able to get a few videos posted that I did screen recordings for. Um, I don't know, man. It's just weird that sometimes it's almost like sometimes it's almost like these gang stalkers are being told that they're gonna have to back off. Uh, that like they're gonna have to back off or something because um, sometimes I'm able to do things that I know normally they would be like, no, we're not letting you do that, and it was sometimes I can, and it's like, if you get a chance, listen, this is very important, and I want to explain what it is exactly, because some people don't quite understand what it is that I'm talking about. Um, so I put out a video of five. I've put out 5 videos this morning, today, and I put them in a playlist, so you could find the playlist, but you could also find the 5 videos. They're kind of out of order a little bit, but um, okay, it's important. It's probably one of the most important video series, some of the most important videos you'll ever see about being targeted individual stuff, whatever. Okay, and it's about like the virtual device, the virtual Android, in this case. So to help you understand what I'm talking about, okay? I have my physical phone, and then I have gang stalkers that broadcast around me, and they do live streams and all this different stuff that they do. And if you're dealing with them, they're doing the same thing to you, regardless of how you perceive it. They're pretty much doing the same thing to you. Um, so the virtual device is a same as a physical device. So if I have my Android in my hand, all right, and it's a physical Android, well, the virtual Android is the same as that. Okay, it's just a virtual Android. Okay, but in this case, in some instances, they're using my physical Android. My physical Android is the it's like the frame of the base of the virtual Android. It is the virtual Android. It's just a gang stalker's using the virtual Android, and it's just basically a bunch of files and scripts and apps and settings and all this different stuff, same as you would have in your file system structure of your Android. They have that same thing, okay? And it's just they initiated it, boom, they're using that, but they're using it off of your Android. You're hosting it. So and then they're using it. It's basically a gang stalker's phone, a broadcast gang stalker's phone. That when they're on, they're on EMF broadcast, and they're using that's the device that they're using. Okay, so when I say the virtual Android is compromised, it means on my device I've discovered uh, a virtual device that is a gang stalker's phone, okay, that they use when broadcasting. They use it to administrate your phone, to steal your files, to block you from this and that, and administrate you. They're administrating you and your activities on your phone with their virtual copy or their virtual Android, whatever. It could be a clone or not, or whatever. It has administrative permissions over everything, and they control everything. Okay, if you have a problem, if your file comes up missing, they moved it to some storage on your phone that they've allocated for themselves that you can't get to. Or if you get a page stall and you can't get an upload, or you can't get an app, or your storage is all of a sudden full, or anything, they did that. Okay, they're doing it with these files and all these uh, crooked APK packages that they're using. So anyway, so what I did on the videos is I discovered a virtual Android on my device, and I've got a bunch of their phones now. Okay, and so I probably got 10 of them at least. But the way that I did it on these videos is like it'd be the way to do it. Okay, so um, basically I found their virtual Android, and then I went into this app and that I have that can do these kind of things, and I show you everything on the videos, and I decompile the whole file system and everything, and have it sit into this folder, and then stick a USB drive into the bottom of my phone and like export it into that, and boom. So I've got it. You know, I got their Android. So someone asked me, it's like, what are you getting? Like, what is that you're getting? And what I'm getting is a gang stalker's phone, okay, and all the files and everything else that comes with it. And in these type of things, what I found is I found all kinds of APKs. APK is a app basically. It's a package install bundle for an application. So you know, if you could go on Google and download the YouTube APK, and it would be the same. It would pretty much be the same as downloading YouTube from the Play Store. It's the same thing. Okay, that difference is the APK file from internet or whatever is something that you can get into. You can get into the file system of that. You could get into the whole bundle, and you can see it all. If you got the APK package, you can get into all of it. So, but you can get into all of them anyway if you have the right apps and things. And so I go into that and I talk about it, and you know, decompile that. And in those I've found their files with all these APK packages to do little facetious activities against you, from everything to everything you can think of, to breaking into your everything, to using your fingerprints, to using your iris, to man, everything you can imagine, little schemes and this and that's against you. I've got when I downloaded one of them one time, I got I think 1,200 apps, and most of them were just these little APK files. These basic little apps that perform a function to, you know, block you from this, or you know, block you from that. They have some that like show, like like make blocked things show up, or block things that they don't want to show up, or they can do things to your contacts, they can do things to your internet, they can do things to break into your Wi-Fi, to administrate this, administrate that. All these things, you'll find all of these things within their file system to give themselves the capabilities. You'll also find all of the permissions. Like in the first one of the 5 videos I did, I found it initially and started going through, look at the permissions. And what they were using was a system UI home app or something like that, and they could use different things. They could use a YouTube app and modify it. They've done that before. Anything that they can just use that has a lot of capabilities, and they'll modify it and give themselves a whole lot of permissions. And you see on the first video, I went through all the different permissions, and it was like hundreds of different permissions that they could just basically gives them complete control over everything, and they could just see your messages and rewrite the script of anything they want of anything. All right. So anything you do on the device, it's going through them. And so you can see how that happens. And then I've had things where I've found like their files that they're like not just like system files or like part of the virtual device type files, but the things that they're doing. Like, you know, you can find their phone number that they're using and for the virtual Android, and most likely they're going to have that linked in some kind of way to maybe your phone number from the physical device, or you know, or some kind of Wi-Fi calling type of thing. Or there's a lot of different ways that they give themselves communications, you know, that you can't see or mess with. They give themselves all these permissions and capabilities, and then basically administrate yours. But I found their files, you know, where they're writing these little scripts to like post different things on the Connect.net versions of some of these sites like Facebook and things like that, where they're not only doing live streams, but also just making little posts. You know, they might post a picture of you looking stupid with like broadcast all over your face or something like that, and they'll have it scripted in to run through a particular filter to show broadcast, and like and you know, and like pop up with this and that. Like um, I did a video probably last week or something where I showed some of these files that I had found where they were doing these status updates and they were using my um, router as a server. So they were in this, they were making calls to the, like calling for get these things from, this router. This is server. They're using it for a server, and the router was reaching out to my devices, on the Wi-Fi network, and basically they just had it set up like that. And if you got a virtual, like they have a virtual Android and they're using it as a broadcast, or they're just floating around with a hologram, air hologram, whatever. I know it sounds weird, but it is what's happening. And you got to think about the circumstance of that. And the circumstance of that is they're using a virtual device that's being hosted off of your physical device, and they're using little pieces of storage everywhere they can to have things, to have physical things and a virtual thing. So, in every little website, they're using a couple of megabytes here and there to store this and that, and they're storing things on your devices, and they're, taking over Wi-Fi networks to pull it from here and there and where everywhere. And they just got little nooks and crannies all over the place where they're storing little things. And, and you can find all of these little lists, these little P lists and different manifests and all these things that can unravel exactly what's going on if you start to look into these things. And then, you may find the scripts of the status updates and the different things. And it showed me like that, it showed me what some of these little APK files that they're using, and like these camera filters and different things that are made to, it's like all they gotta do is run a video or a picture through these filters, and they don't even have to run it through the filter. They just tell the script to run it through the filter when it posts, when they post it. And when I say they post it, like they'll post it on Facebook or something like that, on your Facebook, okay? But you're not going to see it because you're on Facebook.com. And so if you want to see it, you'd have to have your whole thing set up as, different. You'd have to be on IPv6 and be on SSO and connect.net, whatever. And then the Facebook would be either the app that they have rigged up with all of that, or it would be connect.facebook.net, and you'd have to be running a server type of thing. You'd have to be either run a local host or have some hosting or something like that, and be able to process languages like PHP and whatever, to be able to access some of these things. But all of this stuff is, it's relevant and it's deep. It gets deep, but as you start to understand it, I'm telling you guys the full, real truth, and nobody else ever has talked about the real truth publicly at all. This is I'm the first and only person that's come out with this type of information about how it's all done, what they're really doing. I've been telling you guys for years about how it's all like broadcast and all this stuff, and now I'm putting together the hard evidence. It's like, because what they do is very hard to prove. It's very difficult to prove. But if they stay off of my personal networks and devices and everything else, it would still be very difficult, other than like I could post pictures and you can see it very well, and it's far beyond any doubt. And I've got thousands of pictures and stuff posted everywhere. Yeah. So but nobody's really taking all that seriously, and the links and everything being in photography and just the broadcast in general. And I've gotten to a lot of stuff. I've learned a lot just from what I could see in broadcast, especially on edits. But a lot of people just can't see it. And you can call me whatever you want to. Some people are like, oh yeah, you're off the deep end. But being able to see things, and if you got to edit, or if you could just see it with your eyes, or both, or whatever, or being able to see things gives you an extremely large advantage over somebody that can't, okay? Because if you could see what's going on, then you know what's going on. If you could physically see it. And so that gives you a big insight into things right there. So that is important too. But digging into these all this coding and computer stuff with like the whole virtual devices and the scripts and learning all of that stuff, it gives you a whole another aspect of the bigger picture of how it all goes down. So I'm just trying to put that out there and let you guys understand um, the rest of it. If you could watch all five of them, it'll show you how to, um, that it'll show you how I found it, or I guess I don't remember exactly how I found it, how I decompiled it and transferred the file system, looked all through it, and show you what's in there, and then um, export it and like get away with the file. And basically, just off of my own stuff, I had to kind of break in and heist their thing, so their virtual phone. So I gain a gang stalker's whole phone, um, and then I have that. So and I've done it quite a few times now, and I've got a bunch of their phones and a bunch of their files, and they're doomed. This group that I'm dealing with, and it is who I've always said, and they're doomed. They're doomed, and I got everything I need. Okay, the only thing else I could say that I need is a lawyer, and just to start filing things against them. And it would be no time at all before there would be some kind of agency over here wanting to look into their servers and dig into their things. And Google would be wondering what the hell's going on over here on behind Kevin's house. And I'm sure Facebook and Apple computers and Android and everything, they'd all be having a little interest in this whole thing that could really turn into like a revolution. And at very least like some extreme lawsuits. I can only imagine what Facebook and Google and Apple and and a bunch of lawsuits with all this um, all this information that's never been public at all. And that's kind of what I'm starting to put out there, that people are doing these things. And I got so many logs and files and just hundreds of gigabytes of stuff piled up and everywhere. And these guys, they want to try to get at it as much as they can, and I try to do everything I can to keep them from it. And we're just having a kind of a more like a, I'm not really a hacker, but I'm starting to learn some things. They are definitely serious hackers, and they're also gang stalkers. They're also mind control, EMF broadcast addicts, and they've been doing this to me for a long time. But what it's become like a file war, basically, like where they're trying to do what they do, they're caught, but they still need to do what they do because it's what they do. All right, they do broadcasts, they do live streams. They've made it their job. They've made it their career. All right, and their addiction at the same time. Mind control is their addiction. Um, I am their addiction. Live streaming is their livelihood. Is their everything. So that's where we're at, like with it, and so I'm just doing I'm just figuring it out as I go. I'm not really a hacker, but it's become this file system war, and trying to be able to maintain uh, possession of files, basically, that prove things, or and trying to keep control and access and possession of my physical devices and the just everything. And it's a whole, it's very difficult because they can get into anything, and they can, if you turn on a device and it's got wireless capabilities, they can get into it. And the only way that I've been able to really do anything is to get out of that, get it off the devices, get the information off of the devices. And you've got to have it on external things like memory cards, USB drives, external hard drives. And in my case, I'm trying to sort things out and work on it on this old G4 Mac tower that I've had for 20 years, and that has no wireless capabilities. I took the modem out most recently, that I had accidentally left the modem in there. I took all the Bluetooth and Wi-Fi out, before then. But what's happened is somehow they're still getting into it. So I've ended up having to restart the whole, like fresh install of Mac OS X 10.2 like 5, 6 times already. And each time I'm trying to figure out how to keep them out of it. And I open it up and run the console, and I put get info on all of my drives, and I watch everything, and then I'd start putting memory cards in and an external, and I just try to transfer things around and organize these file systems and look at what I have. Look at because I'll go into like I'll break into their file systems, all down into the root. Okay, because if I look in my file app, my files in Samsung or whatever, and it's got my files, and then my files will be coming up missing, and like I might have just a few little files, but it's like all my storage is full, and I'm really they got all my files. They've been moving to somewhere else, and so you have to break into the root system and find their file system where they're having because look, they're on your devices. They're using your devices to host all of their stuff. So while they're hacking all of your stuff and everything, they've got all their stuff that they're using on your devices. So when I go and I start stealing all their files off of my own device and moving them and getting them off of there on on external stuff, what I end up with is like this world class hacker suite thing that shows everything they've been doing and everything that they're using, and then I get all of their files, and I learn a lot. But anyway, that's what's going on. If you get a chance to watch those 5 videos, do that, and I'm about to just flow for a few minutes. Nah, they mess with my Bluetooth, man. We're working on this like this one hand thing. Oh, you know what? Hold on. They're messing with my Bluetooth a lot, so everything's real choppy or whatever on my music. But I got some jams going in my ear. But I want to talk about this too, real quick. The torture, okay? And with all of this hacking talk and devices and virtual blah blah whatever, I haven't talked much about the torture, okay? So with the broadcast, they can torture you and attack you physically, and so in my case, like it's gotten worse. Really, some of the things that they're doing to me now is some things are worse than the things that they've done in the past, and it's real bad. So they've got this thing with snakes, this like snake obsession lately. And I don't even care how ridiculous it sounds. I'm just going to tell you guys the real truth, and you can take it or not, but just know that I got a, this is my reputation, I guess you could say. Usually when I come out with things, they're not so believable. But time will tell that these things are the truth. And as bizarre as it seems, it is the truth. So, one thing that I can tell you is they're having this obsession with snakes, okay? And when I say that, it's like they broadcast, okay? So, all of the things that are happening to you, um, and the people that are talking to you and everything else, these things are physically happening like with broadcast. And when I say with broadcast, I'm talking about like hologram people, like all this stuff that you can't really see with your eyes that well. You could see it in certain circumstances and certain conditions. And if you do certain things like editing with different programs, you can definitely see it really well. But personally, I can see it with my eyes. And over the years, I've learned to see it better and better. And I can do a lot of little tricks to see it better. Okay. But them living as broadcast, they can see it perfectly like it's real world. Okay. And so, so can their EMF videos that they put out, these like streams and these little shows that they do about targeting people. Okay. So, one thing they've been doing to me is they've been broadcasting these snakes. Okay. And so, these snakes, like I might see all these snakes, and they're big, gigantic snakes, right? And I'll just see the heads of them like come up by me, you know, and I know what they're about to do. They're about to start attacking my feet. And when they start attacking my feet, it feels like they're being burned. Okay, so today they did not like these videos being put out when I did that. When I got their virtual Android and I did the whole video set about it and everything, and they started burning my toes on my right foot so bad. And like still even now they've been burning my toes all day. And when I say burning my toes, I'm talking about physically. It's burning. It's like causing all kind of redness, and they're like cracking up. It's, I would show you, but it don't even look pretty, and I ain't showing you. But they're physically burning my toes on my right foot only. And you know, and that's what it boils down to, is they're using a EMF microwave broadcast to burn my toes, is what it boils down to. Okay, but in the actual what's happening, what if you were to watch their EMF broadcast video, or if you could see EMF like they could see EMF, you would see these little snakes coming up, not little, these big snakes coming up and just basically like biting my toes and just kind of resting there, and they're like hanging off my toes. Okay, and it'd be like a snake. All right, and there's ways that you could like kill that broadcast with like a laser. Like if you put like a laser right into the snake's eyes, or do, it sounds stupid. It sounds berserk. I know. Okay, and it's really pointless anyway, because they'll just broadcast another one, right? You know, right then, and it starts to be a little fun game to them where you're having this little war, this little fight against them, but you're the human and they're living as a broadcast, so you can't really hurt them back. And you get into this thing where you're doing things to their broadcast, but they're doing things to you as a human, and it's not fair. So it's not like a fight you want to get into. They can just keep doing things. So the way I fight them is to talk more about it, really. They've also been doing this other thing where they put these snakes, and they're like big snakes, and they'll just like go over my whole arm, right? My whole arm, like I'm like, it's like they're eating my arm, okay? And you can still see my arm, but like if you were seeing EMF, or you were living as a broadcast, it would just look like a big snake, and you wouldn't even see my arm. It was just like a big snake was eating up my arm, and they'll put them on my legs and my arms, and it feels almost like it's constricting, okay? And it'll start to cause like numbness, and it feels like there's a suction on it, and it's like squeezing, and it's really bad. It's a horrible form of torture, and they'll put it on my legs and like leave it there for 4 or 5 hours, you know, like while I'm at work and stuff. And you know, it weighs you down, man, and it like eats up all your energy. And I mean, ultimately, it's just some sort of EMF broadcast microwave torture. But the way that it plays out as EMF is, and in their videos and everything else, like it plays out in a way that there's snakes on you doing this. But I mean, in reality, I understand it is just microwaves, and it's not snakes. But if you could see EMF, it would look like in their word, it would look like some snakes doing that. So, um, it's just a horrible thing, man. They're all like cartoon characters, living as these little holograms, and they can, change into this and that. And sometimes the snakes will be them. They'll be the snakes. They'll be living as the snake. Cause like I'll look at the snake and it'll like turn into like the face. It's weird because like you could see, like I know who these guys are. Like I'm over the years, they've been on my channel for years. All right, it's Ricky and Marcus and Scott Jack, and a bunch of more gang stalkers. And I know some of them before, and I just know some of them through the years of being gang stalked. But it's weird because with broadcast, they could be like. They could be broadcasting like somebody could be broadcasting as some sort of character, like not really a character, but like a thing, Like they could all broadcast as, um, they could all broadcast as emu or cows or whatever. They could all broadcast some sort of animal, okay. But you would still notice and recognize the who it was. So like there might be chomping away on my foot as this broadcasted snake, and I look and it's really Ricky. And like you could see that. You could see that it is him. So even when they broadcast as things, their character is still you could still tell that it's them. I don't know if that makes any sense to you. So, if you was to broadcast me as a cartoon dinosaur, it would still have my persona. So I would be able to tell, because it is still that person. They're just broadcasting as that and, acting out there. But it's all for their live streams, but some of these torture tactics lately have been pretty severe, and they're meant to cause harm, real physical harm. And, sometimes I feel like they see that as their way out of this. Ultimately, they they are losing and they're gonna lose, so they feel like they want to cause, physical failure and basically death, like murder, over time, and they see that as their way out of this. Like, you're just gonna have to kill him, we're gonna have to broadcast, attack him to death. And they've attacked me so bad. Like I had an ambulance out here one Sunday morning, about probably 2 months and a half ago, maybe 5 weeks ago or something. I had an ambulance out here where they were attacking me so bad, man. I thought I was gonna die. I think I had a minor heart attack. And it's the same group. This one family, one particular family, and a couple more people with them. They're the main ones that do the live streams. They didn't put me on neural monitoring, but they're the main ones that are kind of running it. Even though I might have 20 different people, there's about 4 or 5 of them that are like the solid group, and they're mainly this family. And they were given the main positions, and they've been doing these live streams for a long time, and they got the most to lose, and they're running the local host and the network for all the gang stalkers around here, and they're operating a server and hosting a lot of their own stuff with these broadcasts, these live streams, and just a lot of things going on. But anyway, I'll talk about all that some other time. But I wanted to let you know that it is still going on. The torture and everything. I just don't talk about it as much. I'm gonna do my thing. The one hand thing, it's not that easy. Something new I've just been working on though. Hold on. I did this one thing where hold on. Oh, it's like a pommel horse or something. It reminds me of a pommel horse. Like if I'm like, I don't know, man. That messes with my Bluetooth so bad. It's like chopping in and out. It messes me up when I'm trying to dance. And they know that. They do that on purpose. Ah. Also been working on these tangles, right? Not that good at the tangles yet. Anyway, I'll probably keep flowing for a little while. They're messing with my Bluetooth real bad. Like they really get on my nerves today with it. But that's what's going on. That's how it's been going down, and I'll be fighting with them. I'll get frustrated a little while, and we'll have a little file war. I get them for a couple gigs of sensitive information. Maybe we'll start posting some of these file system stuff. Um, I'm sure a lot of stuff is really illegal. You know, just everything they're doing is illegal. Everything they do is illegal, and they can't be getting caught like this, and they are. They're caught. So anyway, that's what's going on. I appreciate you guys watching. I'm gonna go ahead and cut it off, but that's what's up, man. Y'all hold it down out there, man, and learn about this stuff that I'm telling you, because it's all very important.